Alright John, Derry are having a decent enough start to the season themselves, so it's always a tough place to go, but this season you'd imagine it'll be quite tough up there.
I know, absolutely. Derry is always tough, but I suppose Derry have gone back to basics. Obviously I always compare Derry with Cork. You know, we're the two teams are furthest away from everyone, and you know, the core and the strength of Derry always historically was in their local players, that a very hardcore local team, obviously with some outside players brought in, and over the last number of years they went away from that. You know, and you can see, you know, Declan Devine was appointed with Paddy McCourt and Kevin Derry, and they've come back saying that they wanted to bring the Derryness back into their club, and you know, and they went back out there and started signing all Derry lads who had moved away, and you know, I think, you know, that obviously, you know, they've pride in their club and their city, and you know, the results this year have been fantastic. You know, obviously, you know, last week they lost to Rovers, but you know, they drew in Waterford. They beat Pats and drew in Waterford. So yeah, and it's always tough in Derry, and we know that, and you know, there'll be a big crowd, and you know, it's whether Derry were top of the table or bottom of the table, it's always a difficult venue. But over the years we've had some very good results, and on some occasions we haven't. So you know, we're in the middle of a hectic schedule at the moment, and you know, we have to have high energy levels for Friday night.
It's been a mad schedule, really, hasn't it, the last 2 weeks? I mean, it's 2 games a week.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's very difficult. It's difficult for everyone, but particularly you know, when clubs don't have the panels that, you know, we've been very fortunate. Even in the last couple of years, we've had very strong panels and big panels, which has helped that scenario. But you know, you can see that when panels aren't big, it takes its toll, because guys get knocks and they miss a game here and a couple of games, and you know, that can happen. You know, I suppose we all agree the schedule is too hectic. None of us want midweek matches because it affects revenue and affects our crowds. But at the moment, that's where it's at, and until there's a league change or a league format change, you know, and with the number of games, that's just the way it is at the moment.
John, you touched on it Monday about, you were saying 4 players you identified to bring to Cork City, and they decided not to come in the end. But you just say it's the nature of our league, like that, you know, players like the merry-go-round, or is it purely down to budget cuts that they refuse to come to the club?
No, I think in our league, I suppose football is peculiar in that, you know, if everyone relates it, takes it back to their day job. You know, why do people work? They work to pay their bills. You know, they have to get a job that, you know, gives them a quality of life. But everyone looks at football as different, because we're I suppose smothered by England, and people see high wage and whatever, whereas the average footballer in Ireland is on the breadline. You know, we don't have investment in the game. You know, we all can see prize money is poor. We can see, you know, clubs struggle to survive. There's no long-term plan. A lot of clubs live from season to season, and footballers, it's their only income. The professional footballers, of which there are only about 100 in the country, and they have to get the best deal going. You know, so you know, this year, you know, probably we haven't had as much money to spend as we would have had on other occasions. So likewise, you know, players got better financial terms elsewhere, and that's their choice. You know, and you can't, you know, you might be disappointed. Sometimes you can pull players down, and we've been brilliant at doing it. But the lure of the club, the coverage we get, the attendances we have, and you know, the passion there. But sometimes fellas bring it back to basics, and they can get more money elsewhere. They go somewhere else, and that's just the reality.
It must be frustrating to John as manager. Like, I remember a few years ago, there's players on the phone to you to come and play for Cork City, and you know, I suppose the club has made a profit in the 4 years you've been there, and then all of a sudden it's cut. So it has to be frustrating, like, as a manager. Yeah, well,
there's still plenty of players on the phone to us still to come down here as well. It's whether they're the players that we think are going to make a difference to us. You know what I mean? Look, as I keep saying, you know, League of Ireland's tough. We have a fantastic club here. You know, it's everything about the club is brilliant. You know, the coverage, the pressure. You know, I soak, I eat it up. At the end of the day, we're going through a difficult patch. So we made an adjustment this year that, you know, the investment isn't as high. We have lots of other teams that we've had that we didn't have previously before. We have lots of extra staff in different areas that we didn't have before. and the football first team is the engine of a club, and that's where most of the money is generated from. And so from that point of view, we work within the guidelines. I'm well aware that you can moan or complain, you just get on with it and just have to rebuild it. At the moment we're rebuilding, and we have a very young team. We have lots of young players. Some have come through our system, some we've brought in, and sometimes they lack a bit of experience, but it's not from the ability that they have, but when you're going through a tough run, they have to learn, they have to take the knocks, and they'll be better players for that. And but at the same time, we're very positive. While it may not seem that way in the results, at the end of the day, we came out Monday night, we kept a clean sheet, we had a couple of chances we didn't take. We are disappointed, but at the same time, do we feel we can turn it around and get back up the table? We do.
Do you just take it, John, one game at a time, or is it do you look at it like a third of the season gone in 3 sections, that the next 12 and on next third we've got to kick on, win matches and get up the table?
No, it's very difficult, Trevor. I suppose when you're in business, and someone like myself that's been working in companies for 30 years where it's sales projections and forecasts and whatever, that's all done in those games. Football is different. It's very, you can look ahead and say, well, the next 6 games, if you can do this and target so many points, and then you go into your next match and all of a sudden you're missing 5 players and you have to reassess. Football, I think, is very much you take it one game at a time, because it is a habit that it can knock you and kick you when things are down, and when things are going well, your confidence is up. So in football, it's always one of those ones where I believe you deal with the next game, which is the most important game, and unless it was maybe a cup or a league cup game where you were planning to leave out guys or rotate guys, but in the league, which is your bread and butter, for me, you take it one game at a time.
Yeah. Do you think the full strength, John, you're gonna, you look at the teams you played at the top, I suppose you've done well enough, beating Bowles, drawn with Derry, obviously at home, probably should have won the match, and beating Narrowly up and Dundalk. The only one you were probably well beaten was Rovers, but so at full strength, like I say, with everyone fit and ready, do you think you'll be able to compete with the top teams in the league?
Well, what I know is that we can give any team in this league. And can we beat any team in this league? Absolutely. Yes, would we like to be a full strength? We would. But at the same time, what we need when you have a new team and you're in transition, you need consistency, and that's the difference between where we're at and Dundalk. We're at having consistency, where whether you're playing a top team or a bottom team, you still won. At the moment it's about consistency, because people assume, when you're playing a team maybe not at the top, they're not as good and you should win that match. And we need consistency in our team, and that's what we're trying to achieve. And when you have young players like that, and they're probably reading that this game they should win. It's easy game. There's no easy game in this league. Every game is tough. So we just need to get back to get consistency, and because there is a lot of talent within the group, and at the same time you can see, as I keep saying the other night, you're looking at our back 3, McCarthy, McLaughlin, Casey, all 21 and under, good lads. And you look at Tilly started the match, Darragh O'Connor came back on, which was plus for us, and Darragh Crowley came on, one of the young players. So that's different to where we'd have been in the last few years. Where we had probably Beattie, Delaney, Sadler, Keohane, McNamee, all established players who could come off the bench. But look, it's brilliant. Like you're asking me, and we're positive. The management are working every day. That's the way they do, and they've always done it that way. The team are working hard. They're all great young fellas, and there's nothing. I keep saying, if you look at the performance, is there any day someone can say to me, well, he didn't try for this club? Absolutely not, because they're a brilliant bunch of guys. But at the moment, we haven't won a couple of games haven't won in the last 4 or 5, 6 games, and you just need a win to get confidence going. I think you could see the other night, some lads maybe lacked a bit of confidence, but the effort and the way they're going about things is they're desperately trying to turn it around, and that's what we'll be in for Friday night.